So I've been following this game called Into the Dead Our Darkest Days for a while now, and they finally released a pre-alpha demo for the public a day or two ago. Now for me, I got tired of the whole zombie fad the gaming community was obsessed with some point between season 2 of Telltales The Walking Dead and whatever the fuck Escape from Dead Island was. But when I saw the trailer for this game, it generally interested me. The side-scrolling level design, the tense atmosphere, and the seemingly keen aspect on the scavenging aspect of zombie survival. So was this demo a proper representation of what the trailer showed us? Let's find out. So before you begin, you are given the choice of a pair of survivors to start your campaign with. These survivors have their own little dialogue boxes detailing the story of one another. This is nice because it fleshes out a little context on how these two jabronis would find themselves stuck in a zombie apocalypse together. Each survivor also has 3 starting traits that will affect them in many ways during this campaign, and not all these traits are positive. So the pair I started with is Daryl and Leo. Daryl, the big white guy over there, can eat anything without getting an upset stomach, but when he's on cooking duty can only cook fucking slop. Whereas Leo takes less damage in combat and also does a lot more melee damage in combat with melee weapons. However, he gets quite hungry a lot, which is bad considering that this nigga can only make fucking slop, but you know, it's a give and take. Once you've chosen your pair, you are flung into the world which seems to be set in the 1980s of America, where it seems that a random outbreak has zombified people and the American government has done what it does best and has abandoned their people in their hour of need, leaving the remaining survivors to fend for themselves. So we start the game in this shelter, and these shelters act as your little hub world in between missions. Here your survivors can rest, fortify the shelter, craft, and plan scavenging expeditions. You can set a certain number of tasks at these designated stations, such as cooking stations, recreational spaces, and crafting benches. These actions will take up a certain allotted space of time during the day and night. Once the survivor is placed at the station, they cannot do anything else but those tasks that you assign to them. But enough of this tactical nerd shit. Do you want to be a Eugene or do you want to be a Daryl Dixon? Let's get to the heart of the action. Let's go scavenging. So scavenging missions take place in a 2.5D like side-scrolling stage, where movement is restricted to mostly left and right and some specific conditions that allow you to traverse vertically. Inherently, what this means is that a lot of the time you won't know what's coming until you move the screen and see for yourself. Now while you're out there, you can scavenge around for items, food, crafting materials, and weapons, while managing your backpack space because you can't take everything with you, at least not on the first run. To circumvent the fact that you can't scroll the screen manually, you have certain mechanics to help you survive. Closed doors can be peeked through in order to get a limited viewing of who or what is in the room before you enter. Zombies do not notice when you are peeking through doors, and they also cannot open closed doors unless they've seen you. You can also sneak instead of walking and running, because when you walk and run, you generate noise that will alert zombies to your presence if you aren't being careful. To add on to the part about noise generation, each weapon in this game have certain stats such as durability, damage, speed, and most importantly, noise. Bladed weapons typically have low noise potential, but the more damaging weapons like hammers or shovels can generate a ton of noise when killing a zombie, which can lead to alerting all the nearby zombies in the location. So it's best to analyze each situation uniquely and think about the consequences for hitting that zombie with that steel pipe. Speaking of zombies, some of them are very well hidden in the stages. Yes, of course, some of them are just standing there talking to themselves, but you get a few who sit in the foreground or the background where you can't kill them until they are awoken by the noise and actually enter the stage to fuck you up. So being aware of the position of these bosses is key to not getting overwhelmed. Zombies can also be stealth killed by sneaking up behind them, but even stealth kills can generate noise depending on the weapon you are using to stealth kill them. Now you don't have to kill every zombie you come across or loot every room you find. All you have to do is make it out alive. You can turn back whenever you want if things look hairy. You can always come back later. One tactic I like to employ is to clear an exit and always have a clear path of escape, because some of these zombie chasers can be intense. And if you run into a locked door or a random zombie blocks your path, you are cooked, my friend. So after a successful scavenge, you can use the supplies to craft weapons, barricades, or new facilities in your shelter. Barricades are used to fortify your shelter because no shelter is forever. Every 2 days or so, the zombies outside will tear more and more of the shelter down trying to get in, but the barricades will slow down the process. Cooking facilities are needed because eating raw meat can cause your survivors to get sick. Well, if you aren't Daryl, that is.
Make sure you peel back the membrane on the testicle. You can use a spoon if you want, but God gave you the hands for a reason. and go to town.
One thing to always keep up on is the sleep gauge. Every action your survivors take in or outside the shelter depletes the sleep gauge, and when it gets too low, their performance and mental well-being starts to suffer. We'll talk about the negative mental states your survivor can acquire in a second. So it's important to have your survivors rest and also have enough beds for your survivors to rest in. But once again, enough of this nerd shit. Let me show you what happens when you fuck up a scavenging mission. So here my dumbass forgot to equip a weapon in my hand when trying to go for the stealth kill, and you can see how badly one mistake can cost you in this game.
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
Don't be like me, guys. Yes, there is permadeath for your survivors in this game, and the death of your survivors can affect the mental state of those who are still alive. My boy Daryl is now going through a whole depression arc because I got his homeboy killed.
I really miss my nigga. I really miss my nigga.
These negative mental states can and will evolve into worse ones that will continue to drain a survivor until they actually give up on life itself if you don't rectify it in time. And there's a bunch of negative traits in this game, some that make them fear zombies, some that make them unable to do anything but sleep, and even some that make them, well, you know, give up on life itself. As for the performance of the game itself, the game performed pretty well for me. I got maybe 3 instances of notable frame drops. Bear in mind, I have like a 6-year-old RTX 2080 Ti in my gaming PC, but I was able to play the game on the highest settings with little to no issues. The textures on the zombies themselves could be a little more detailed, but this is a pre-alpha demo, so I'm not sweating that too much. The game can be played with a controller despite the developers not having a console release date planned, but that's neither here or there. From the couple of hours I played of this game, it's been super fun. Every stage layout is well designed to tell a visual story about what happened to this place during the apocalypse. The music and atmosphere that's being created here is tense in the best kind of way. The sound design is deliberately loud and echoey to build up a sense of anxiety that will have you questioning constantly if the noise you just made killing that one zombie will spend the end for your survivor. You can move shelters, gain new survivors, build a community to survive the coming days, or you can fall into one of the developers' many traps and end up like Raul here. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days is slated for a launch sometime in 2025. I will definitely be picking it up when it launches. I heavily recommend you guys to try the demo for yourselves. It's on Steam right now. But anyhow, like the video, subscribe if you aren't already. See you next time.